Hello and welcome to Wireman's Whimsy. I'm Lorraine and it is Throwback Thursday. So I am going back to one of my perennial favorites, the First Frost set, along with the frosted bouquet dies that came as part of the bundle. The greeting is from Peaceful Moments, which is a current set, and the background is Stacked Stone, which is also in the current catalog. So our throwback is definitely our First Frost. So what I've done with this card is I have stamped the greeting in the Melon Mambo, cut it out with the smaller of the two frame dies from the Frosted Bouquet, and then taken the larger of the two frame dies and cut it out to mat it in the Melon Mambo. Melon Mambo card base, 5 1/4 by 4 piece of basic white that I'm going to use in my Stamparatus to do the stacked stone background. And the leaves for the roses here, this is one of the stamps in the set. And when I was starting to design this card, I'd inked this up and then I'd used Melon Mambo on a finger dauber to color the flowers. But I found it really didn't go, but I needed leaves for the roses. So I stamped the leaves and then just cut the flowers off. So they actually look like this. So you've got just the leaves and not the flowers. So that's how I created the leaves for this. But let's get started on this. I've done a lot of the work already because I wanted to kind of go through the Stamparatus and how I use that. So I'm just going to pop that out of the way. As you can see, I've already cut out the pieces that I need. But I do need my piece of basic white. Now with the Stamparatus, I do a lot of my larger background stamps with the Stamparatus because it's really easy to get good full coverage. So what I've done is I've actually left the imprint of one on here. And this piece of, this is kind of the wax paper that comes on the back of the stamp. And sometimes these ones can be really hard to pick up when they're stuck in the case. So I put just a little piece on it so that it's easier to pick up. Now I just lay this over top of that image that's already there. I make sure it's straight, and then I drop down my Stamparatus and pick it up. And then when I put my piece of cardstock in, I make sure it's centered, and then I'm good to go. I'm just going to move these stamp sets out of the way. And a trick with this when you're inking up is put an ink pad underneath, and then it makes it really, really stable. So I'm just going to take my ink pad and ink that up really well. Lots of coverage. Close the ink pad up, and that's in the Sahara Sand. I've done the stacked stone in the Sahara Sand, and just give it a press. And then lift it up. And you can just tip that off like that. I like the Sahara Sand because it's got a definite kind of green tinge base to it. It's definitely a more of a green than a brown, but it's that neutral kind of color that we're looking for as a base for our roses. So I'm just going to line this up like I normally would, making sure I'm even all around and dropping it down. Now everything on this card is dimensionalized. So from now on. So what I've got is, as usual, I have got a whole bunch of edge pieces. These are mini dimensionals, and I still actually have one left, so I'm just going to pop it on a leaf there like that. And I just go around the same as my large dimensionals. Just trim the edge up, and then you've got lots of pieces that you can use there. So I need to dimensionalize this piece, and I do have some large ones that are still using the edges. As I said before, I seem to always be using up my dimensional sheets when I'm doing videos. I don't know why it works that way, but it seems to. So I'm just going to pop dimensionals on the backs of all of the pieces. Might be a bit difficult to see because I've got a white background here. I had originally used just a big block and stamped the background, and then I realized that yes, that would be much easier with the Stamparatus, and it would give me an opportunity to show you the Stamparatus because I don't use it very often in my videos, but it is an incredibly useful tool. Okay, so I just need to pop this down on the card, and it's centered towards the bottom of the card. So I'm going to just line it up where I want it, kind of make sure I'm straight and even, drop it down a little bit, and I'm a little crooked, so I'm just going to give it a bit of a push here. So there we go. So now I'm straight. Leaves. So I'm going to take the dimensionals off the back of the leaves now and pop them in. Some of the reason that I do the pre-work beforehand is because I do like to keep my videos just that little bit shorter. Honestly, I tend to lose interest if the video is too long and it takes too long to get to the point of what I wanted to know. So I tend, if there's a lot of cutting and stamping, I tend to do that work beforehand. So there's just a little bit of the other flowers there, so I'm just going to pop that down like that. So there we go. And this time I really wanted to show you the Stamparatus, how I line it up, and using the ink pad underneath the hinged piece to ink up so that it's a lot more stable. And I'm just going to tuck this in like this. Overlaps a little bit, and I've stuck it to my fingers. So there we go. And then the rose goes on like this. And I do like to have things overlapping the greeting. It's just a thing. I don't know why I do it, but I just like it. So, and we're going to put the smaller of the roses. I was playing with putting it in the middle, but I like it offset, and it's kind of tucked underneath just like that. So if you have bling, you can put bling on. I like it like this. The background's quite busy, but I want the focus to be on the wishing you every happiness this special day will bring. So I used Melon Mambo, Sahara Sand, and then Granny Apple Green for the leaves. Stacked Stone for the background, Peaceful Moments for the greeting, and First Frost is our Throwback Thursday set. So thank you so much for watching, and let's create together again soon.